there, welcome back. How have you been? So here we are, the third episode of the free game Retrospective. I'm Lyric Haddock, and today we're talking about a game I'd never heard of until it popped up on Epic Games for free. Amazing artwork, brutal but replayable gameplay, and a fantastic narrator. A game I picked up on Christmas Day of 2020, Darkest Dungeon. Post-recording Lyric Haddock here. Probably should have a warning at the beginning, but I mean the game is called The Darkest Dungeon and it really does live up to its title. Now, I love my game histories, behind the scenes. Oh, it caused some controversy, but I'm not here to speak about that today. To be honest, I would highly recommend that guy Glenn and his absolutely amazing work with the video How Darkest Dungeon was made and caused an outrage. Link in the description, go watch it. I'll wait, seriously. I'm not going anywhere, Ooh, crisp. Oh, you're still here, or are you back? Either way, give the dude some love and let's move on. So Darkest Dungeon, how do I describe it? The Dark Souls of dungeon crawlers, HR of the damned, Therapist of the Deadites, Antiques Roadshow the Manson Family Special, Spreadsheeting for Satan. Okay, let's move away from those. Darkest Dungeon is a gothic, roguelike, turn-based RPG, and I know what you're thinking, they're a dime a dozen, but this is hard, and I mean seriously hard. To quote Stephanie Miner of the Gamer website, Dark Souls makes an appearance on almost every single hardest games list. But I argue that this is due to a lack of popularity for Darkest Dungeon, not because Dark Souls is actually a harder game. I mean, personally, I own Dark Souls, but I've never really given it a chance because who wants to play a game to get enraged? My lack of knowledge of Darkest Dungeon assisted in me picking it up, but I will admit 100% that I wanted to jump into this game having seen its art style. Literally, through any looking up or anything out the window, once I saw the video and screen grabs on its store page, and I was instantly intrigued. I guess we're starting like episode 1, with the art style. Didn't intend to do that, but with this game, considering that's what drew me into the game, it's as good a place as any to start. It's dark, it's brooding, it's bloody, it's bloody beautiful. Described as a hand-drawn gothic croakquill art style. Wait a second. Croakwill's graphic art might thus be characterized as a rich fusion of grotesque and comedic idioms. Oh wow, and he illustrated Dickensian work. Okay, sorry, got a little sidetracked there. Link in the description if you do care to do some further reading. I mean, seriously, love the artwork, and my hat goes off to the artists, Chris Barassa and Brooks Gordon. In fact, don't get me wrong, the gameplay mechanics are solid as a rock. I mean, but the art style of this game gives it such an edge. Try not getting engrossed in what's going on when playing, when it's got that trifecta of quality in a game. Gameplay, sound, and art. We're going to hold off on the gameplay aspect for a moment as we look into the sound design. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not an original soundtrack that you'll necessarily be listening to on Spotify in the car, but it completely works where it's meant to work. The music is moody and atmospheric, at times haunting, but it all connects to this game's style so beautifully. Then there is the standout audio thing, though, that I've not mentioned yet, the narrator.
At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. A moment of valor shines brightest against a backdrop of despair. Executed with impunity.
Listen to them tones. I personally believe having his narration elevates this game so much. I mean, say it with me now. Executed with impunity. Sorry, that was awful. Here's the game one.
Executed with impunity.
Wayne June, to you, we salute. At ease, people. Now, without further ado, on to the gameplay. I mean, this game has your standard party building mechanics, permadeath, turn-based combat, and data. Oh, so much data. Then there's the afflictions, maladies, boons, stress. Wait, stress? Heart attacks? Wait, what? Yep, let me check. Yeah, it's, yeah, and it makes it that much more difficult. You're now not only trying to manage your party inventory, upgrades, etc., but their mental state. I can understand the annoyance this can cause some gamers, but in this game it works so well. It's infuriating at times, but I'm still going back to it. This game hasn't been deleted since I got it. It adds yet another layer to party planning. Yeah, you have a healer, a tank, and a ranged fighter, but have you got someone who can lower stress while you're dungeoning? Is your abomination's transformation going to trigger an affliction? I keep mentioning afflictions, and what am I meaning? Well, they're game-changing. A character becoming abusive and attacking or stressing your party becomes paranoid. Okay then, don't accept the healing when you're on death's door. Oh, acting irrational? Cheers for the team attack. There's a low chance you will gain a virtue when this happens, which will buff the character and sometimes your team, such as gaining courageous and gaining combat boons and a chance to lower your stress. Stress gets to maximum and boop, heart attack, dropping their health to 0 in an instant. Another hit and they're gone. Refuse to be healed and they're gone. Then you're left with 3, who all have their stress and potentially their resolve tested due to losing a comrade. I know I went on for a bit there, and I will be heading back to the game in a moment, but when watching that guy Glenn, and then, digging it out on Wikipedia, it all kind of started to make sense with what the creators had said. The affliction system was inspired by psychologically traumatized heroes, both through historical events as well as works of fiction, such as Hudson from Aliens and the soldiers from Band of Brothers, who are transformed by the horrors of combat. Sigmund pointed to the 7th episode of Band of Brothers, where a soldier watches his friends die from a shell explosion, stares transfixed at the event, and then becomes unable to fight anymore, as the feeling they wanted to capture. Now I know the Band of Brothers episode well. I watched the series over and over as a teen, and I've rewatched it in recent years with my own teen and wife. And that moment with the fantastic Neil McDonough as Lieutenant Lynn Buck Compton, we'd followed him from just before D-Day, we'd seen him lead his men through terrible things, but in the forests of the Ardennes he was pushed too far with what he saw, and he couldn't continue. I completely understand their idea and implementation of what happens with actual people. I know video games are often a break from bad things, but the implementation of stress and pushing people too far is a thing not often considered by anyone. Most games, you complete a section, you return to your hub world, and boop, full health, issues gone, everyone's good to go out into the danger again. Not here. If you don't get them treatment, they stay stressed, making the next venture a potential character-losing endeavour. You may just break them. It has you making decisions that you'd probably never make in any other party-based RPG. That character that's been with you from day one. They have a list of issues making them highly susceptible to stress. Their combat hindered in nearly all of the dungeon locations, and it'll cost a fortune to remove even one. Any other game, you'd likely keep them until you're able to remove stuff. Nope, you're gonna scrape by. Best bet is to let them go and hire another adventurer. It's a massive change to how I've played games like this in the past, and my first couple of tries did have me sticking to my general RPG style of gameplay. I like this party, I'll send them straight into the next dungeon. Oh, no. Bad mistake. Like me, it'll probably take you a couple of run-throughs to get yourself in the mindset that Darkest Dungeon needs. I've restarted more than once, I've also popped it on the tamest difficulty setting, and it's still difficult. Once you do start getting the hang of the mechanics, you'll find it easier but still difficult, as the procedurally generated dungeons mean you never know what you're gonna get. You may send what you think is a strong team into a smaller dungeon, but between more stress and combat, you lose one and two others gain bad traits, and you retreat, adding even more stress to your surviving characters. The hub world is your ancestors' hamlet, where you arrange your adventurers and deal with stress and remove quirks or disease. Your dungeoning is what will increase this, from upgrades to stress reducers to upgrading the blacksmith. You need to retrieve family heirlooms for these, but to upgrade your adventurer's skills or remove a quirk, that will cost gold. Leads to yet another thing to worry about. Do I take the thing worth cash and upgrade a character, or do I take the heirloom to upgrade the stagecoach? With your limited inventory space, you will have to make these decisions either on the fly, or be going into the dungeon knowing exactly what you're after. And the mechanics then throw yet another spanner in your works. Want to send the 4 adventurers to some stress-relieving activities? Well, 2 of them will only pray for stress relief, and 1 will only drink. And 1 isn't allowed in the brothel because of deviant tastes. Again, adding that extra level of difficulty and planning. But that plan can go to pot if the caretaker is using the thing you need. So what else can I say about Darkest Dungeon? The game is difficult, will likely infuriate you, will make you make choices that you probably never expected of yourself, and you'll thoroughly enjoy every minute of it. If you're easily enraged, it may be worth skipping it. Or don't. Maybe it will assist your rage if you see someone else getting enraged and attacking their friends. Makes you think. Having written this script, it feels like a long and heavy one, but I mean, it's all in the best way. As in, go and get this game, or number 2, which did release recently. I mean, I guess all that's left to say is thanks for watching this episode of the Free Game Retrospective, and look after yourself. When the stresses of the daily dungeon feel like a burden, take time. Some time just for yourself. Do something that you enjoy. No, I'm not recommending the game's version of stress relief. Play a game, watch a movie, go for a walk and wind down. You deserve it. See you next time.